We now have an exchange of views with Europe for Festivals and Festivals for Europe, EFFE. This is so that we can discuss a pilot project which was supported by the Committee on Culture. So EFFE was introduced in 2014. Could we have some silence in the room, please?
Guest. Okay, you can take your seat and not, sorry, Sabine Verheyen. Oh no, that she didn't. Excuse me. Venta Verheyen, sorry. Ok. Thank you. Allora, noi avevamo, è stato inserito questo pilot project.
This was inserted into the budget for 2014 because this initiative is to set up and with a sort of long horizon these types of festivals for the citizens of Europe, not just to set up a sort of network, but also sort of to increase the quality of festivals on cultural subjects, so that we can increase access to the various festivals in Europe, both for the artists and the other operators, but also so we can provide sort of key information about the general picture of festivals in Europe. This should be a sort of kind of portal. And this is very much part of sort of Creative Europe. And we need to reinforce these festivals to increase the quality, because this is sort of a source of culture in Europe. We have two people responsible here today to introduce the EFFE. Kathrin Deventer, Secretary General of the EFFE, and Hugo de Greef, General Coordinator of the workshop, both in Belgium and internationally. You have the floor.
Voila. I'm not used to speak in this forum, of course. Thank you very much, Chairwoman Silvia Costa. Good morning, members of the European Parliament. It's always a great pleasure, not always, but it is a great pleasure to be here and speak in this forum to the members of the European Parliament, the representatives of citizens all across Europe. And I have to say, it's really always for me a great emotion. As Secretary General of the European Festivals Association and co-director of this new program, pilot project EFFE, Europe for Festivals, Festivals for Europe, together with indeed Hugo de Greef, co-director of this program, I would like to thank you first of all for allowing us the time to present this pilot project EFFE. It's a pilot project we developed and launched together with the European institutions, and we would like to present you with an overview of this project and hopefully convince the members of the European Parliament that it's worth further investment from the European Union. And we have distributed some material that I hope will give you a little bit further insight into the program. As the chairwoman, Ms. Silvia Costa, said, I think we can agree that Europe is a continent of festivals, from big to small in size, from south to east, north to west, from big festivals to small towns. We find festivals at all corners of Europe. Festivals have been celebrated across Europe for centuries, in cities, in rural areas. They continually bring people together in a festive atmosphere. We, at the European Festivals Association, for more than 60 years now, with our experience, we know that festivals need celebration and enrichment. One way to guarantee this is to make sure that everyone knows which festivals are doing the most exciting and innovative work. We also have seen the need for a coalition amongst festivals that share similar goals. Europe is a vibrant cultural space, and we want everyone to know that. Festivals are a clear and important artistic and cultural moment to communicate with citizens all across Europe on European values. We want festivals and our partners to be part of this platform in developing it further. What have we achieved together so far? it is important for you, I think, to know what steps we've taken together so far for our platform, for the sector, and for European festivals, as well as European institutions. Let me give you a brief overview. In 2010, the European Commission's Culture Programme began its funding trend for festivals. While greatly ambitious and a step in the right direction, it showed limited possibilities by selecting only a small group of beneficiaries. In that programme, an already modest subsidy was given to a very small group of festivals. As an example, in 2010, 674 festivals applied for the grant, and only 18 were selected. By 2012, only 235 festivals applied. This clearly shows a drop-off in interest of festivals due to the very, very low success rate. And we may conclude as well, it resulted in less enthusiasm for the European project in these partners, festivals, that would be very, very well placed to promote Europe. The European Commission and the European Parliament reacted on this drop in interest and launched a pilot project for platform for festivals in the field of culture. After developing this idea with EFFE in its network, including its president, Mr. Darko Burlek, and together with Hugo de Greef, and of course I had the privilege, not of course, but I had the privilege to present this idea in 2011 to the Culture Committee here in the European Parliament. In 2014, the mandate was given to the European Festivals Association to implement this pilot project. EFFE was chosen out of a strong field of applications. Together with DG EAC and the Creative Europe Programme unit, led by Mr. Karel Bartak and his team, with Corinne Rigaud at the European Commission, we are developing EFFE now through an ongoing collaboration. The pilot project has been introduced and discussed as well to Commissioner Tibor Navracic and was warmly welcomed. Ms. Costa, you as a chair, you are also supporting this EFFE project. A project, as you said in your introduction, showcases the strength of arts and culture in Europe. It involves hundreds of festivals in a platform, festivals that can celebrate and enrich not only themselves, but in particular artists and citizens, by engaging its many benefits from a labeling system to an online platform. For our budget of 1 million over 2 years, we will be able to directly impact hundreds of festivals through a labeling program. Through outreach events and educational opportunities, we will even reach more festivals. If you consider our over 600 likely labeled recipients only, they are all being positively impacted by a small amount of money, €1,666 contribution from a European Union, compared to a small amount at the beginning and only 18 festivals that benefited in 2010 at the beginning. I think this is a great achievement. And this is only the first edition of the EFFE programme. So it's important that we can already see a similar number of interested festivals that took the time and energy to apply for grants from the European Union in the festival strand being impacted for a fraction of the cost. So what have we achieved in the first 12 months that this programme is running now, this pilot project? We can happily tell you that 897 festivals applied for our label. 31 countries are included in this platform, including all 28 member states and 3 non-member European Union countries. A large amount of the applicant festivals will receive a quality label. Around 10 festivals will receive a high-profile award. 8 high-profile personalities are part of our international festival jury. 24 festival hubs, our national representatives, have worked to develop and promote the project at a national level. In each EU country, there is a festival hub that is now our local contact point across Europe. More than 100 festival hub experts, our festival insiders, have evaluated the applications at the national level. And what's to come? One inspirational book will be published. This book will deepen the knowledge of the festival sector and present the festivals receiving an EFFE label and an EFFE award. One digital guide will include all of these festivals in an online platform. and it will increase citizens' access to Europe's cultural diversity. One awards ceremony will celebrate all label and award recipients, and an international communication campaign in the fall of 2015 will internationally bring this program and festivals and Europe as a cultural continent to the attention of citizens across the globe. All of this will happen now between June and the end of the year. But again, it's just for this edition. Together, we can ensure that these activities continue well in the future. The amount of festivals EFFE can impact is limitless if it's funded to continue for future editions, thanks to European Parliament's vote for its continuation. We are now at an important moment in this project's development. We must together, I feel, together see how the project will continue in the framework of the European institutions. And it's for that reason that I have the opportunity and the privilege now to speak with you here today, to put EFFE on your agenda and to discuss the prolongation of this pilot project for phase 2 for another 2 years to allow EFFE to reach its full potential. Some more details. The platform covers, as I said, all of Europe and has many important moving parts. Its mission boils down to 2 simple goals united by a simple structure. First of all, the structure. In Creative Europe or European project language, EFFE is a platform. In our eyes, this means EFFE is a community. It is the new international festival community in the making, gathering festivals from all genres across arts and cultural disciplines that are deeply committed to the arts, rooted in their local community, and are European and global actors. These are our 3 criteria we have promoted in this first edition. Now to the mission. Our mission, I think, can be described in 2 simple words: celebrate and enrich. EFFE celebrates Europe's diverse festivals by honoring the most innovative and influential arts and cultural festivals amongst them. The platform guarantees a European festival label for quality and further an award for the most trend-setting festivals. These festivals are in an online festival guide. It will be accessible for free for citizens across Europe and beyond. This will allow citizens to easily discover Europe's very best and most creative festivals. This access does not exist yet, though we know that Europe is a continent of festivals. It does not exist a central location, and we are happy that this program can provide this access. Increased access to arts and culture will show Europe and to Europeans and to the world the values Europe stands for. Secondly, EFFE enriches. It enriches the festivals landscape by promoting trends in artistic excellence and innovation in festivals productions. The platform intends to broaden awareness of what's going on in the festival world and promote excellence and innovation. As I mentioned, a digital portal will gather festival makers in an online knowledge and exchange center, allowing trends and best practices to quickly spread across the festival landscape. The festival will bring together festival managers, artists, promoters, the media, policymakers, and all interested partners. EFFE believes that it is an important advantage for Europe's festivals to be recognized by their peers and by the European Union for their outstanding quality. The label recipients and award winners will benefit from increased visibility, new networking opportunities, foster involvement of festivals in the artistic community, and recognition for their outstanding values. We believe this project establishes a quality benchmark and will therefore provide a next step in the development for the landscape of arts and cultural festivals. To achieve our mission, we have strived to build a strong coalition of partners across Europe. The idea of EFFE is not top-down, it's bottom-up. EFFE has worked, as I mentioned before, in collaboration with festival hubs, our national representatives in 24 countries. These hubs are a key decentralized element in the program. They are the ones who know the festival landscape at the best, who connect artists, festival leaders, business leaders, policymakers, and cities in their countries across Europe to this innovative project. In future editions, we hope that all member states will be represented with a hub as well as further neighboring countries that show interest to participate in the Creative Europe program and also in this EFFE Festivals platform. Through a European-wide application process, the most innovative festivals are now selected for receiving a label and an award. Applications were opened in summer 2014 and closed in December 2014. Experts chosen by the hubs have assessed their countries' applications. More than 100 of these personalities now, European-wide, critics, journalists, festival organizers, artists, and so forth, have been involved in this platform. And we believe that is quite remarkable. In addition to the hubs and the hub experts, an international festival jury has been organized. It is a group of individuals from across Europe that will take the final decision on the festivals receiving a label and on festivals qualifying for a festival award. The jury president is Vincent Baudrier. He's the current director of Le Théâtre Vidi Lausanne, and you might maybe better still know him as the former director of the Avignon Festival. Further diverse members bringing various perspectives, even from outside Europe, to this international jury are Hortense Archambault, former co-director of the Avignon Festival, Tom Creed, opera director, Piotr Kruszynski, dramaturg from Poland, Ulrike Josefsson, artistic director of the theatre place in Göteborg, Nina Peche, director of the Kino War City Cinema, Mark Russell, director of the Under the Radar Festival in New York, and Georgi Szabo, the manager of Trafo, House of Contemporary Arts in Budapest. You can see EFFE is working to build a strong network of partners to ensure its results on many fronts. It has built on the existing network, of course, of the European Festivals Association, involving its structure and extending it with new partners. The Lannot Publishing House, just to mention now one more, with their vast experience in the cultural sector on the development of guides, at large, is contracted to create the digital guide and to publish our book on festivals. And many more important partnerships, in particular in the digital world, will follow. At this moment, we are in the middle of the project, so I can only present you with the results we've achieved so far. We hope that from this current state of play, you see that the value of the project and you can understand the sector's need for its continued existence. What is set in place to still occur before the first edition are some elements, such as the International Festival Jury to take the final decision on labels and awards, the notification to festivals to be promoted and promote themselves as recipients of the EFFE label, the launch of the festival guide, as well as the publication of the book and the award ceremony to take place in September this year. Then, hopefully in 2016, we can start this biannual process over again. But for that, as I said before, we need the continued support to build on the success that we have built so far. As this project continues to grow, the European Festivals Association, as an organization and as a network of festivals, will continue to support the project with its large and important network and partners. Our member festivals engage in EFFE's ambition and will serve as an active core and knowledge center for the festivals across Europe, who will come together and extend the network's platform in EFFE. EFFE offers its network to focus more single-mindedly on Europe's diversity and creativity we can find in festivals. EFFE is a result of many, many years of intense collaboration with the European Commission and the European Parliament here in Brussels. And thanks to EFFE's past and present engagement in the development of Europe's cultural policy, and thanks to its broad membership, I believe that the European Commission in 2013 granted EFFE with a mandate to set up this pilot platform for a time span of 2 years. As I mentioned, EFFE is ready to work in collaboration, further close collaboration with the European Commission in implementing the first phase and with the European Parliament to discuss how this pilot project now can continue to improve its organizational structure and to increase its maximum impact it can have on a long term. The efforts and the results achieved so far through the first edition, we believe, should continue in the structure that we have set up in order to be sustainable. We strongly feel that this program has a long-term potential to be the center of festival life in Europe. As festivals involve so many individuals in the cultural sector, from artists to managers to bookers, it is a key industry in which investment from the European Union can have an important impact, giving these actors the possibility to promote the European project and its important values worldwide. The engagement of partners and festivals over the years has been really remarkable. All of the stakeholders I mentioned before are now part of this platform, and they are hoping and willing to continue so that we can work together as a whole to celebrate and enrich the festival sector. I conclude here and say that we trust that you see the value, and we hope that the members of the European Parliament will be able to endorse the continuation of the pilot project when it comes to formal procedures, how to continue such a pilot project in the next budget. Dear members of the Culture Committee, dear Chairwoman, Ms. Silvia Costa, I thank you for your attention, and of course we are here for open questions or any further information we can give. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Grazie per questa.
Thank you very much for this introduction and giving us an idea of this platform. It certainly seems a good effort to try and promote this kind of culture and support artists in Europe, and also to have a sort of quality label for festivals so that we can show that they are both actually European at the same time, very rooted in the local community. So I think it's in fact a much appreciated. And of course you can see that by the requests for information that you receive, and a national hub must be reinforced, and also it should enable a circulation of material and information at the European level as to how this all works. So this is very useful exchange. So I think the Parliament, and particularly this committee, will look at this project and how we can continue our work on it. And today is an opportunity to give a view and perhaps look toward the future. Mrs. Trüppel, Boydred, and Sudrova.
Ditemelo. Prego.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It was very interesting. I would like to know whether you faced any problems by setting up this platform, and if you were asked to make some proposals for improvement, if there are any, then I would like to know what that would be. Thank you.
Grazie. Julie Ward.
Thank you. Julie Ward.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I'm a great advocate of festivals. I think they're a wonderful evocation and celebration of culture, both local culture and diverse culture. But I would just warn against the cult of celebrity, which I believe can be really excluding for local people and people at a very grassroots level. And also the word quality can be a very difficult word because quality is so subjective. So I'd be interested to know how you might be measuring quality and whether or not the audiences themselves have a say in that, and because it can be used in a very divisive political way. So I just feel very much that we need to promote and celebrate the local and try and be more inclusive when we're talking about festivals.
Grazie, collega Sudrova.
Thank you.
No, děkuji.
Thank you very much. I think it is always good to look at a pilot project, and I'm very happy that we have a platform that can promote festivals. But we must be aware that a pilot project is just that, a pilot project that will have its beginning and its end. And it is a question if we should have a stable systemic resource to fund such projects. Maybe you can tell us which kind of funding you would like to see.
Grazie, collega.
Thank you very much. Zajewski.
Chciałbym przede wszystkim wesprzeć tę inicjatywę, uznając ją za istotną z punktu widzenia.
Yes, thank you very much for this initiative. I think it's an initiative that is extremely important, especially because it allows us to gather information on quality of different festivals that are organized in Europe. If I remember correctly, in any case, there are a lot of festivals that are organized within Europe. I think there's 7,000 to 10,000 or so. There's some very well-known festivals, for instance, one in Salzburg, theatre festivals in Avignon, or Edinburgh Festival as well. That's quite famous. We've got a long tradition of festivals across Europe. There are also a great deal of festivals that are extremely costly and require a great deal of funding, and they still need to provide the right level of quality. So it's important to gather information about festivals and their quality. Myself, I think I've been to 500 or lots of different festivals across Europe, and I think that I've been able to observe that sometimes, even if it's of a good quality festival, it's not always something that lasts forever. So it's good to look at this and address this. We have this issue in Europe, and we have another trend, which is the fact that we've got lots of anniversaries and commemorations in Europe. But a festival is something that's organised on an annual basis, so it's a good opportunity to promote European values, and that's why I'm in favour of this initiative. Thank you.
Grazie, e vorrei.
Thank you. And I now give the floor to the Commission. Welcome here. You have the floor, Madam.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Very briefly, we have been, we are of course very much aware, and this was also mentioned here, about the importance of festivals for culture in Europe, and this importance is growing all the time, above all with the development of the habits in culture, and with the development above all how culture is normally consumed in Europe. And you know that live culture is becoming more and more important, and that's why festivals are really a very, very important part of European cultural landscape. That is why we have supported this pilot project, because we think that with this we can have a better kind of European understanding of festivals, and above all, we can make festivals available to citizens from different countries, and we can make above all the information about what is happening beyond the borders of different countries, so that people are better aware of the possibilities they have. Now, we have been following very closely this pilot from the very beginning, and I can say now that after 1 year of the existence of the pilot project, that after some initial hesitation, we feel that it is really starting to make a difference in the festival landscape in Europe. We have seen, and you have heard the figures, that there are nearly 900 festivals already involved. There are 24 national hubs. We have a very prestigious international jury. So we think that the results of the first year correspond to the expectations as far as the pilot project is concerned. Now we will have the second year of we are having the second year of the pilot, where we expect this, to be expanded and above all made a little bit more solid at European level. And we are going to continue to explore with the European Festivals Association how to take this forward. Because, of course, and this was also mentioned, a pilot is a pilot, and it has a beginning and an end. And we have to see how we are going to continue this, whether we continue with a prolongation or whether we continue with an preparatory action. In any case, we are talking to the European Festivals Association and exploring with them how to focus the orientation of this project so that it corresponds to better to the political priorities which we have within Creative Europe, audience development, innovation, capacity building for small cultural organizations, organizations, development of new business models, innovative use of digital technologies and all this. This is all very important so that we make this sustainable, so that we see that within a couple of years the label which is being developed and the award which is being developed is something which is going to stay as an integral part of the cultural landscape in Europe. So we have to adapt the project to the priorities of the program. In any case, for us, we are also exploring possibilities how to improve mobility of artists within the platform, so that we make sure that above all emerging artists, young artists, have the possibility to move from one festival to another, so that this becomes a part of the project. We are also looking into possibilities of improving cultural tourism, making European tours of festivals, so that people who are interested in a certain form of culture are very much aware of what is happening around, and they have a better possibility to move from one country to another, and witnessing and having, with the appetite for a certain type of festival. So in any case, we think that it's worth continuing. We are going to work intensively with this project, and we will see to it that within a year, when the pilot phase is over, how we can adapt the project to the conditions which are set up by the legal base of the Creative Europe program. Thank you.
Grazie anche alla Commissione.
Thank you very much to the Commission. And let me just add that it is very interesting to get an answer to questions, for example, the criterion of quality. And of course, there is a question of sort of labels that you can attach to people as being really sort of European or international. But very often there are small and very precious festivals that are really of high quality. And I also want to types of victory that could be sort of theatre, cinema, circus and so on. I would like to know more about the different spheres that you work and how you sort of work together. And in my country, we are seeing something that in a sort of broader cultural sense, not just sort of artistic, but in cities or different places in Italy, we have festivals, for example, of the economy or philosophy or other areas. And they have chosen to have a festival of this kind once a year, so that get different reflections on a particular subject, also some cultural, artistic aspects, but other areas of expertise as well. This is a sort of also a cultural sphere without necessarily being what we would describe as artistic. Would you comment on that, please?
Thank you very much for all the follow-up questions that I tried to reply one by one, maybe not chronologically, but starting with the importance, I think, of the content and what we understand as a festival and what we understand as quality, and what are the criteria of this platform. And not only of the platform, but of what are the criteria to evaluate and to value festivals, indeed, arts and cultural festivals. On this question of quality and on the question of definition, and it also touches upon the question, what are the problems and the improvement, because it starts with the problem and the challenge to define a festival. There are hundreds of definitions that are culturally related, historically related, that are limiting or increasing the scope of what is called an arts and cultural festivals. What we have applied as a definition is that a festival is limited in a certain time and space, of course, that it is celebrated as an arts and cultural festivals serving an artistic as well as a cultural development in a local community. That is criterion number one. It's the artistic quality and the cultural relevance of a festival in a local space. The second criterion that we have as a basis in the program is the community involvement. It's the outreach to citizens and the local rootedness of a festival, let's say, that is carried not only by an artistic vision, but also by the relevance and the link to the local community from the smallest little village in the north of Finland to actually small places such as Edinburgh or Avignon, which are or Salzburg, one of the biggest, or Bayreuth, one of the biggest and oldest festivals that are actually happening in quite some small cities, even defined by walls around these cities, to cities such as Berlin, Berliner Festspiele and other festivals that of course are operating at a totally different kind of scale. And the third criterion is that a festival is indeed responding to a European dimension or even a global and international dimension, which can have various manifestations. It is not only it's not only the quantitative elements such as the amount of co-productions between the amount of different kinds of countries, but also the topics that are addressed in festivals. There can be a totally local community festival addressing the topic, for example, of environmental issues or social inclusion, which we believe are topics that have and play at a global level, topics that at this point have to be or are addressed and should be addressed, I think, at the local level with citizens in their everyday life, but play, of course, in their impact and in the way they are portrayed, they are discussed in a festival at an international level. And this is where we believe this European dimension can be discussed in this way. It is difficult because the festivals that we have invited to apply are not only the arts festivals, are not only music, dance and theatre festivals, but are also festivals related, for example, to philosophical discussions of today's world, are related to poetry, to literature, are film festivals. There is no exclusion of festivals, for example, that work on a more commercial level. We are not afraid to include the film industry and the rock and pop festivals industry in this platform because we believe that learning from each other, from different parts, let's say, of an artistic reality and the development inside festivals, we see more and more in the non-for-profit sector as well, is important for this platform. But above all, we were interested in creating a set of criteria so that the EFFE platform is not just a listing of festivals. It is not just a call to festivals to subscribe, to be included in a festival's list, but it is related to a really thorough process of quality assessment of applications that the festivals have written online, that have been assessed on various levels, at various stages, from the local now to the international jury stage, which for us is important. On the question of the cult of celebrity and the awards, of course, awards and labels and a ceremony which is giving awards has something that is not reflecting the process, but is setting a moment. But we believe still that this moment of giving the recognition, also in marketing and communication terms, is an important moment for us. Not only to give the awards, but also to bring the community of festival organizers together for 2 days and discuss the platform, discuss its opportunities, in particular the online opportunities. Because if we establish a festivals community of 800-900 festivals in the first edition to receive a label, this is not a network of friends or of people who would know each other. It is a network of organizations that basically happens online. Access to information, to an incredible database of festivals, of information we have now collected by festivals applying to this platform, is, I think, a fantastic tool to access information on programming, on audiences, on budget items, all the information we have gathered by the application process to access. None of the Dutch festival organizers would easily know what happens in Germany, not even in Germany itself. The Cultural Theatre Institute, for example, or our colleagues working with us would have a good knowledge about music versus dance versus theatre versus film festivals, because it's all divided amongst disciplines. So it has been a very useful exercise, in particular also on a national level, to get an insight into the festival landscape and even trigger to the national authorities to think about a national policy for festivals as well, which does not exist in many EU countries. It exists in some, but it does not exist in other countries. To come very briefly to the pilot project and its limited mandate, as Mr. Karel Bartak mentioned before, it is our ambition that this pilot project becomes a program which it needs to become. In order to establish a label where festivals apply to, it needs time. And this is one of the problems we experienced as well in the first edition, not problems but challenges, to reach out to festivals and make them understand that this is a beneficial instrument for them to use was quite a challenge, because the label does not exist yet. We cannot give them returns on what they will get when they put the label in their programs. And also one of the challenges was Europe sometimes. Festivals explicitly do not subscribe to a European project because they said, I'm so frustrated with this European Union integration process. So it is for us an opportunity really to enter into dialogue as well about the responsibility of us as festival organizers, of a network, of including festivals into this dialogue on Europe. And of course, another challenge on this level is at the organizational level, the wish that we have to decentralize and organize EFFE bottom-up versus the assurance and the guarantee of quality. Once you decentralize a program and you allow the hubs in Bulgaria, the hub in Italy, the hub in Germany, and so forth, to apply the criteria and to monitor the experts, of course there is a challenge because Europe is diverse. It happens in Bulgaria in one way, it happens in Sweden in another way. And this idea of decentralization and at the same time bringing a certain quality benchmark that is equal for all together is a challenge which I think is a challenge of EFFE. It's a challenge in the European project as such. And it's then a question of compromising, I think, and of getting to a certain standard with it, which is ensured. So on the level of the pilot project, we hope that funding can be continued because we believe that this program has to be established in the European institutions framework, not as a private initiative, but in the framework of the European institutions, of the Parliament and of the European Commission. So we hope, of course, that the Parliament can do its part and its work here in the Culture Committee to allow and to find a way in how far a pilot project either is a continuation of the pilot project or a preparatory action in the next stage. I think this is more or less, I did not now address question by question, but I think I addressed some of the problems. I addressed the quality and the definition of the scope, the criteria, the local and the European dimension we try to bring together. It doesn't need to be brought together. It is one for me, but as a challenge. And the importance, I think, to continue this program on the European institutions level.
Grazie, mi sembra che ci sono state risposte.
Thank you. I think you have given us a very exhaustive response. And I think that also the Commission would look at this very favorably. So we as a Parliament can certainly look at doing something. We could prepare something so that we could look at this work and this platform that's slowly being built up, and we could certainly keep an eye on the development, and which I think is very excellent, you know, to look at these festivals. So I think it's a very promising project. And of course, you discussed some difficulties at first, but there's the difference between the questions and the inquiries and the possibilities of responding. There's not just a question of finance, but it's also knowing people to have the link-ups and so on. So it's something that's very important, and what you've said is very interesting to us as a committee. Sort of, you have certainly shown a great deal of determination, and you talked about the difficulties of traveling around. So I think it's something that we need to look at in Europe, and it interests us. So thank you very much. It's been a very useful exchange of views, and it was clearly that of great interest to our colleagues. So I look forward to hearing more. And this is the conclusion of the committee meeting.